they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining in.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 843 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything's always filter free. I'm Brian, your host, and it's June 16th, 2025. This morning I'm enjoying a fresh cup of Brian's Blend from foodforestfarms.com. Because life's too short for shitty coffee, at Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using a clean Airstream roaster. More than just a customer, your family. Get 10% off with code LOTS10. That's LOTS10, and shipping is always free. While you're there, check out the C4 Club for even more awesome perks. Today, I've got a packed show. We're going to dive into a bushcraft project I took on in the food forest out at Delinquent Scully, an update from K&B with a happy table customer, new website and launch, and possibly some new products on the in the works. A little news segment called "No Kings, Bombs Flying, and Fishy Shootings." Excuse me, I can't even read my own notes this morning. Plus a couple of good movies we caught this weekend. Grab your coffee, smash the like button, and let's get started. How we doing? How is everyone this morning? Need a little of that. Obviously couldn't even read. But anyway, first note, I got a note here. I've been meaning to say something the last few weeks on the show, and it always just passes by. I never put it in my notes and it's not there. But if you're going to be doing some Amazon shopping any day of the week, if you could go to thelotsproject.com, right there above the fold, I guess they would call it in the old newspaper world, right there at the top of the page. There should be a banner button that says if you're shopping if you're shopping at Amazon today, click here. If you could click there, it'll take you over to the Amazon app or the Amazon website, depending on if you're on mobile or on desktop, and that gets you in our affiliate tracking, and it helps bring in the funds to help support the show and the things we do here. Good morning, Mike's Homestead. Thanks for stopping in. But you can easily do that. Doesn't cost you anything extra, and we get a little kickback on anything you buy in that shopping trip. So when you're going to be shopping on Amazon, head over to thelotsproject.com and click that link and help us out a little bit. I appreciate that greatly. Beyond that, it's the 16th. I think C4 Club gets shipped out today. Usually on the 15th, but the 15th was a Sunday. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Hope you enjoyed your Father's Day. C4 Club out today. I had a small order last month. I didn't get a hold of them. I just got my standard order in, and I was running a little shy, but always have some extra in reserve. And so I got a cup of Brian's Blend going today, and it's fantastic. Not Brian as in me, Brian as in Brian Norton, the roast master over at Food Forest Farms. It's his signature blend, and I think he took a long time coming up with it. It is a pretty solid everyday drinker. So if you're looking for something and you don't know if you like light, dark, medium, roast, whatever, and you're looking for a general blend that's going to suit you well, definitely check out the Brian's Blend over at foodforestfarms.com. So let's get into it. First thing. Oh, my little light is not working today. I had that unplugged. My little tracker here, I had it unplugged over the weekend. You can see the battery's dead, but we're still updating a little bit. I'm going to plug it in here just to keep an eye on the price of Bitcoin during the show. If you're listening on audio, that makes no sense, but my little price tracker that's over my shoulder usually is the light's not working because the battery's almost dead. But we're sitting right around 106,747 on Bitcoin price at the moment. Good morning, Hunter. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Get started with a project I took on. It would have been midweek. Midweek, I was actually the day before, so I think it was Tuesday. I was out doing some work at Delinquent Scully, and I got down into the food forest, and I was poking around. And when Carrie Brown had been out a couple months, last month, I think it was last month, maybe the month before. I don't know. Time flies when it's raining every day, and they all string together. But we had gone down in the food forest and identified a bunch of things that we wanted to save that we hadn't planted. So the natural foliage that was coming in, the new plants from opening things up and disturbing the soil and things like that. I knew there was stuff coming in that we hadn't planted that we wanted to save, that we didn't want to pull out or weed eat down when I was trimming around and things like that. So Carrie's knowledge of plants and foraging is a million times better than mine. So when he was here, we took a walk down there. We spent a bunch of time identifying different stuff, and there was some stuff that I recognized, and we had marked out particularly the beautyberry bush, American beautyberry, which is really cool. It's got almost a purple berry that comes, and it's berries are edible and they're okay. There's not a ton of flavor to them, but like a little citrusy flavor. But the leaves can be crushed up and used as a bug repellent and some other things. And it's a really cool looking bush. So we saw some of that. I'm able to identify it now by the leaves, but at that point it was just the berries. I found it on the property the first year we were here, and I was like, what are these cool purple berries? I've never seen these before. So I looked it up and did a little digging into it. Another thing that I had found prior, but really couldn't recognize it just by the leaves, I would more recognize it by the flower, was the purple passionflower vine. And it also puts out a fruit. Haven't seen any of those. I lost the vine that I found the flowers on last year up by our site. I was walking by and I saw this crazy looking flower, and they make these absolutely beautiful, intricate flowers that they put out that are only around for a few days. But I noticed the flower and I was like, what is this thing? This tropical looking flower. And I looked it up and I talked to Carrie about it, and it puts out a really cool fruit too. And so as we're walking around looking at things we wanted to save, we found a spot with some purple passion flower vine. We found some beautyberry bush. We found a bunch of other things, marked them out. Well, last Tuesday, one of those, I was walking around, I was getting ready, and I was trimming. I'm like hand trimming around in the food forest. I don't want to go in there with a weed eater. We got some really cool plants coming in, some ground cover that we were going to leave in. And so I'm kind of hand pulling and hand weeding this huge area. So it's taking quite a bit of time. And I got over by this new blueberry bush that we installed last fall when we did the big install. And it's got fruit on it. I'm like looking at it, and I'm looking at it around it, and I see a purple passionflower vine flower, a purple passion flower, I guess it would be. And it's kind of like right in the middle of the blueberry. And as I looked more and more at it, it was multiple vines were actually wrapped around the blueberry bush, and it almost looked like they were choking it out. And I was like, this isn't good. This isn't good. And so I kind of, they're like, they have like tendrils on them, like pea plants, like, growing pea, not pea bushes, not bush beans, peas that grow up the trellis. You got the tendrils that they spit out. And so I kind of unwound those out of the blueberry bush. I unwound these big purple passion flower vines, and I was like, what am I going to do with these? Like, I don't want to pull them out because they had flowers on them. they looked really healthy. And so I was trying to come up with a way to trellis them or train them away and not get them entangled in the weeds, like actually get them exposed and able to watch them. And so I talked to Carrie when I got home, and we said, well, what about a little A-frame or trellis or something we could get them to climb up and climb away from the blueberry bush, because they were kind of located like where they were coming out of the ground was about a foot or 2 foot away from the blueberry bush. And so I did a little digging on the interwebs, and I found, and I had never done this, and it's always a skill I wanted to get into. I see a lot of Facebook posts and TikTok videos on guys doing bushcraft techniques, building things out of sticks and paracord and things like that. And so I did a little thinking, and I knew that making a tripod out of paracord and sticks wasn't a super involved task. I'd seen enough of the videos and things. And so I watched a couple YouTube tutorials. I figured I was going to make a little tripod and string some paracord around the outside and make my own little trellis down there. Excuse me. And I had branches left over from the downed tree that got topped off in the weather. I had trimmed, I had bucked it up when I cut it up for firewood and stripped some of the branches. So I had some really nice, decent length branches that were already stripped, the leaves, everything. And so I watched those tutorials and I went out, and it was really straightforward. It was super simple. Probably 5 minutes. I took a video of the whole process and put it up on YouTube on the other YouTube channel, the Lots Project channel. And so I got that down there. I strung up some paracord on it, and I trained the vines over onto it. And I was like, oh, this is a success. All right. And I trained probably 1, 2, 3, 4. There was like 5. Ended up being 5 vines that I pulled over and started up on this trellis. And after I got it done, I was like all excited. I was like, all right, I saved these things. And so beyond the edge of the food forest, when I cleared the area, when I originally decided how big the open area where we were planting is going to be, I went way out into this wood line, and I cleared small trees. We cleared large trees that were blocking out sun. I cleared out overgrown raspberry bushes that were taller than me, and so it was all open. And so we didn't plant into all of it. We only planted into maybe I would say a little more than half of it. We have plans for the rest of it, but it just wasn't part of this install last year. And so I wanted to walk over and see what was coming in and how thick things were getting over there, because I'll have to come in and clear it out, because we didn't put any ground cover or anything. And so I took a little walk over into some of the parts where we hadn't planted, and I just started seeing purple passionflower vine everywhere. I mean, there were dozens of them over there, and I was like, oh wow, I feel real stupid. I wasted all the time. I didn't waste it. I learned a new skill and how to put a tripod together with a couple sticks. And but I'm looking around, and we have so much stuff coming in over there. We got dozens of purple passionflower vine, like I said, beautyberry bushes everywhere. We have there were actually May apples that survived the onslaught of little critters that like to get them when they're fresh. Beautyberry bushes, mullein is popping up everywhere, and it's amazing what happens when you open up the forest. When you clear out the stuff that's suppressing all these seeds that are in the ground, you get sunlight on it, you get it opened up, get that overstory of blackberries that are just choking everything out. When you get that all out of there and the stuff has an opportunity to grow, it's amazing to see what comes in. So tons of production and just natural production over in the area that we didn't even plant anything. So that's really cool to see. Other than that, all the trees are doing great down there. The raspberry bushes that we planted intentionally down there, they both have fruit on them. All the blueberry bushes we planted have fruit on them. I think one of the pear actually put fruit on. One of the pear trees actually put fruit on this season, but all the other trees are just taking off, like more than a foot growth, I would say, on all of them so far this year. So it's been a rainy / sunny year. It seems like it's raining every day and then sunny part of the day. So plenty of water and growth, and definitely warm and humid at this point. So, but that was a little project I got done. I was happy with that, how it turned out, and I think the skill could be used a bunch of different ways, and not just for a little trellis down there. Yeah. Well, let's move on to the update with K&B Custom Built. Had our first local customer this week. I had somebody reach out on Facebook Marketplace, wanted to pick up a children's size picnic table that we had built and listed on there. So I said, hey, let's do it. She came over, was super excited about the table, which made me happy. She told me that the child she was buying it for is actually her grandkid, isn't even born yet. So they're they're gonna have the table for a while for sure. But she was happy with how sturdy it is, how well it was built, and the color and the stain. And I loaded it up in her truck, and off she was. So that was cool. So I got to build another one of those, which means actually I got to build 2 more of those. One I have pre-ordered for Corey's family that's coming down in September, that I have to have made then. But we want to make another one because we're going to keep them listed here locally. And so I'm going to put a jig together. That's kind of on the list for this week, is putting a jig together for the ends. So they end up more uniform and go together easier, because they were a real pain in the ass to put together the first time. Table was, all in all, the table was super simple to do. Getting things lined up on the ends and then having them be symmetrical would be a lot easier with a jig. So I got an idea to use some plywood and some blocks, and just throw them together, and so they'll go together super easy. Bree Wilderlife saying that they need rain, about to go out and hand water for a while. You can have some of our rain. It never stopped. Our rainy season never stopped. When we moved down here, everybody said that there was rainy season over the winter, and then it goes away and it's dry, and it definitely hasn't been dry. It seems like it rains every day, which is a struggle for the woodworking business, since we're working outside, and to work on everything, we have to get everything out, and if it's going to rain, we got to put it away, and it's just been so humid that it's been randomly raining every day, and sometimes it's not even on the radar. Corey and I were laughing yesterday. We pulled up the radar, and the weather was coming from 2 different directions at the same time over top of us. So it was, there were storm clouds moving from the east, and then developing storm clouds coming from the west, and they were overlapping over top of us. So I was like, I don't even know what's going on here. Some of those rainy days I took and put together a website for K&B. We're going to be putting out flyers with table and some of the smaller projects we have, and needed some place for people to go. I'm not going to be able to put everything that we're going to have for sale, we're going to have available on a flyer. We're also looking at heading out to some farmers markets and craft shows and things like that. And just having some place to send people is ideal. Not the Etsy store, not the Etsy shop. Have a place for people to put in orders for custom tables or things like that. It just made sense, and the bulk of the page was easy, straightforward to get up. Right now, I'm just I don't not want to say I'm struggling. I'm just it's tedious to get the products listed and get them listed right with shipping and things like that, since we're so all over the place with our weights and sizes of the products. Um, so I got the website pretty much done. I think it's all done except for the shop. I got some fine tuning to do on the setup, on the shipping and things like that. And WordPress can get kind of wonky every now and then. So I'm wading my way through that, and then I'll start getting the rest of the products up. So then we'll be able to ship a lot of the products, and then other ones will be local pickup or delivery options for local stuff that is too big to ship. So that's got that website going. That's exciting. And then the other things I got on the docket for this week for K&B are, like I said, building the jig and getting the 2 children's picnic tables, working on them. Excuse me. And I also picked up materials to make a yard-sized Jenga set. You remember Jenga, the game where you stack up all the blocks into the big, tall cube. I guess it's not a cube, it's a big, tall rectangle. And you take turns each pulling out a piece at a time, back and forth, or however many people you got in the group playing. Found pretty straightforward plans to make that out of 2x4s. So basically cut to length pieces, all the same uniform pieces, sanded and stained and finished, and then sell them as a yard Jenga set. And picked up the material also to make I guess it's called a slatted bench. Basically, see benches quite a few places, but solid sides, solid legs on either end, and then solid and slatted seat area. So have plans for that, and the material picked up for those, so plenty to work on over the week with those. We put the yard dice that I posted in the Telegram group, put those on hold for a minute. The more we looked at them, the we weren't as happy as we wanted to be with the pips and how they were drilled out. So we're exploring other options for that. It's tough without a drill press, with just a hand drill, and yeah, just they weren't even depths. They weren't consistent on shape, which surprised me, since the drill bit is the same size. But I guess coming at it in at slightly different angles and possibly wobbling when we were drilling the hole, things just got wonky, and the product wasn't as good as I wanted it to be to sell it. So we're going to use them for some things, and so Corey had some fun painting those up, but they are not for sale, and we're holding off on those until we have the right tools or equipment to do it. We're considering a few different things. One would be a drill press, which would just make it more consistent on being square on drilling the hole, and also on the depth. Or we are considering a laser engraver, and that would just burn the holes consistently. So we'll see on that. Have to wait to sell some more products to be able to buy more tools. So that is in the future. So we also we have some other things that we want to do with the laser engraver. So we're kind of leaning towards that at the moment. But it's definitely a capital investment. So we're trying to figure out the return on investment with that. So let's see. Oh, news segment. I put some news stuff on the list this morning, because that's it's been a crazy weekend, I guess. A crazy 4 or 5 days in the news, and I try not to dwell on the news very much. I definitely, I can't say I don't know what's going on in the news. It's one of those. I try really hard not to have much of an opinion on it anymore. I used to be pretty ingrained in the left right narrative. I used to get all upset and things like that. Now I kind of more observe and for informational purposes, and I try not to get very riled up about it. I like to poke fun at a lot of things, but I do pay attention a little bit to what's going on. So some things caught my eye. I mean, how could they not? The No Kings protest. Corey and I shouldn't say I was hesitant. I thought for an extra second about whether we should go to town on Saturday. And then I realized where I was. I realized that I was in very rural Tennessee. First of all, I realized I was going to a town that's not very large, and the probability of anything going sideways was minimal. So the No Kings protest was scheduled for Saturday, and if you don't know what it was, I don't know really what it was. I know what it was called. I have yet to actually hear anybody coherently explain what the protest was about. I've heard that it was about the deportation of illegal immigrants. I just don't know. The fact that they were calling it No Kings makes me feel like they don't want a king, but we don't have a monarchy in this country, so I'm confused at that point. Our government is acting tyrannical. That's one thing, but I don't think we necessarily have a king. So I was confused there. We got into town and out of town before it started. After the fact, when I saw the pictures of how many folks were at this protest, I think it was like maybe 8 or 9 at this protest in Savannah. I was kind of disappointed I didn't get the opportunity to go down and ask them to see if anybody could tell me what they were protesting and what we're hoping to accomplish. Because in my understanding, when you're protesting something, you should have a coherent line of thought that tells what you're upset, why you're upset, and what you would like done to make you not upset anymore. And I haven't seen this. I don't know. Seeing the plethora of signs that these folks were holding, and around here when these and we can call it what it is. It was a lefty funded protest. We notice these things pop up quite often when there's the righties are in office, and like I said, I don't really care for the righties either. Hunter said the parade sucked. Yeah, I guess he had a birthday parade, which ironically coincided with the 250th anniversary of the Army's birthday, which I guess is a celebratory event. But anyway, when I noticed these protests, I think there was okay, so there's been a couple since we were here, and I can't even remember. They're so forgettable. It's hard to remember what they were for. But I've noticed a couple of different protests around here in rural Tennessee, and usually it's like a few elderly people sitting in lawn chairs on the street corners, a couple of people that are holding signs that they were obviously given, or they were mass produced and handed to them, and no real excitement or enthusiasm. At least not from the levels of enthusiasm I saw when I was back in Minnesota with their protests and their peaceful protests where they burn shit to the ground and riot. The protests around here are pretty tame, and it would just be like shooting fish in a barrel talking to some of these folks, I think, and asking them questions. But that's what I was hoping. I looked at Corey, I said, man, I really wish I had been down there. I would have done some man on the street interviews and asked these folks what they want. Like what is the purpose of this? But regardless, irregardless, I don't even know if that's the word. It sounds like there was about 2,000 of these things that happened across the country. 5 million people total. It's not a lot of people when you really think about it across the country. And I'm sure the numbers that I dug up on the interwebs are probably inflated. It says there's 2,000 locations in the U.S. to protest President Trump and a planned military parade on his birthday, the single largest coordinated protest since his second term began. So they were protesting the fact they were having a parade. Okay. Anyway, sounds like they were pretty non-violent. Things were being drummed up. It sounded like in Los Angeles with days of riots and burning shit. Before this, I lost track of the riots in LA and the Marines coming in. I didn't see if anything went down with that. But it was very disturbing. I don't know if disturbing is the actual descriptor I want, but watching people burn down a city and raise the flag of a different country, protesting the removal of said people from that country to go back to the country that they're so proud of that they want to wave their flag. It's very confusing. The whole thing is very confusing to me, and I don't claim to understand it, and I don't necessarily want to understand it because it's not part of my world right at the moment. But I lost track of that. I don't know if they ended up what ended up happening with the ICE protesters in LA. The No Kings rally in Minnesota were canceled, I guess. There was a pretty crazy event that happened up there. I've had my eye on over the weekend. And it doesn't pass the sniff test for me, but I got to go with what has been officially said. I guess this some gentleman, I guess he's not a gentleman if he did this, but this guy, the Patsy Vance Luther Bolter, I don't even know how you say it. 57-year-old dude decides that he didn't like what went down. From what I see, well, he went and he shot a Minnesota state rep and her husband at his door, knocked on their door in disguise as a police officer. He had a really, really shitty security uniform and a really creepy looking mask on. But it looks like he shot a woman and her husband. She happened to be a state rep. And then went to another, I think he was a state senator. Let me see. I think he was a state senator. Yeah. And his wife, he shot them, the same tactics, knocked on the door, impersonating an officer and wearing a mask. And they're going to survive, it sounds like, the guy and his wife, the senator and his wife. But the state rep and her husband were shot and dead. From what it looks like, I haven't read his manifesto. Hunter says political assassination. Where are we at on the threat triangle? From what? So none of it really makes sense. The stories coming out of the the hours and days after this happened. A lot of things that really, I stopped looking at it. I couldn't. Immediately they started in on the political narrative. He had a manifesto in his he had a manifesto in his car. He had a stack of No Kings protest flyers in his car. He allegedly targeted the first woman because she crossed party lines and voted against providing health care to illegal immigrant adults in Minnesota. So she responsibly decided not to take taxpayers' money to give to people breaking the law. I mean, how dare she? But anyway, as soon as they went down the political role that it was politically motivated, this, that, I was just like, yeah, done. Like, I kind of tuned out a little bit. But then as I'm watching this manhunt, one thing caught my eye. They pulled his wife over on the highway in the town that we lived in Minnesota. So that came up in my feeds just because I kind of follow the local area that we came from. And so she was pulled over there. They're hunting for this guy. They're talking about all the weird shit going on with him. Like, he had a shootout with police and managed to escape, like he was some sort of hitman, professional hitman. I don't know. But he managed to escape that. He ran from the police for, I don't know, almost 2 days. And then they randomly catch him in a field out in the country. They spotted him with a drone, and he just gave up. I don't know. It sounds like there's more to the story than what they're putting out there, and I wouldn't put it past anybody in Minnesota state government or federal government or any of it to put something together like this. So we'll see if any more comes out about that, but I don't know. I don't know if we should start right now by saying Vance Bolter did not kill himself. Might be something that if you're picking up what I'm laying down, they might want to take the sheets out of his bed and put a couple extra guards outside that don't fall asleep, and make sure that the video cameras are working on his cell, just to make sure nobody comes in and takes care of a problem. But it sounded like he had 70 other targets in his manifesto. 70. This guy thought he was gonna get to 70 people before they tracked him, or they were gonna track him down. I don't know, but weird shit going on. Also got a war sparking off over in the Mideast. It sounds like double talk coming out of Trump's mouth. In one breath, he says we're going to stay out of it. In his next breath, he's saying that we're in the middle of it. I don't know. I think, man, let them kill each other. It's sad. It's unfortunate. But let's just stay the fuck out of it for once. I know. It's not going to happen. I know it's too much money involved. I know all this, but like, why? You got rioting in your streets. You got all this shit going on here, and you're going to go over and play world policemen over in the Middle East. I don't get it. But guys, gas prices are going to be on the rise. Crude oil futures, I think, jumped 17% or something in the wake of the bombing starting. You got Iran, Israel unprovoked attack on Iran. I guess is where I heard it. They launched an attack on Israel. And Iran's been fighting back, and it sounds like Yemen is getting in the mix, and it's just going to be a big old clusterfuck in the Middle East. So buckle up, more wars, more killing, more dead people, and like we don't have anything here to focus on. Why? Um, this weekend, Corey and I watched a couple good movies. Speaking of political assassins, I guess they weren't political assassins, but I hadn't seen The Accountant, and Amazon was incessantly promoting The Accountant 2. So on Saturday, Corey and I decided that we were going to watch them both. Well, she decided we were going to watch one, and when the first one got over, I said, "Well, let's watch the second one." And I think I watched the whole thing. I think Corey watched the first about 5 minutes, and probably the last 15 minutes she took a nap in the middle of the movie. But anyway, The Accountant was fairly good. I enjoyed it. It's got if you haven't seen it, it's from 2016. Has Ben Affleck and John Berthnall in it, and Ben Affleck plays a well, what would you call him? A dual personality, and he doesn't have multiple personalities. He's got two lives. He's an autist. he's a math savant. He's got autism. It tells his story throughout his childhood, kind of sprinkled into the movie, but it's a lot of action and has it's got a little bit of suspense, twist, mystery to it, I guess you could say. It wasn't super hard to figure out what was going on, but it had enough to keep you interested throughout the movie. Lots of shoot 'em up and killing and action and things along that lines, but it wasn't horrible, and a little bit of comedy in it. I think the first one was better than the second one. The second one, he plays the same character. It is 8 years later. And then Berthnall's character, his brother, is more involved in this one. Different story, same kind of storyline. Lots of action, lots more. I would say more action in the second one. More shooting and blowing shit up and fighting. But the mystery is there too. Slight mystery. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what's going on, but definitely enough intrigue to keep you watching or taking a nap, I guess, overnight. It was late. I do have to say, she did fall asleep. It was late. We didn't start the second one until after 8 o'clock. And anybody that's in their late 30s into their 40s knows once 8 o'clock comes, you can't start a movie after 8 o'clock or you'll never make it through. I somehow figured out how to make it through the movie without falling asleep. But she watched the first 5 minutes and then took a nap. It was okay. I'll end up watching it again. I'm sure she'll want to catch the movie and watch the whole thing. I will. I'll watch it again. I don't think it was something. If I had paid, how much are movies now? I don't even know, to go to the movie theater. But if I had paid a significant amount of money to go watch it, I probably would have been disappointed. But since it was on Netflix and it came in our money we pay for Prime already, I went for it. I was okay. It was okay. I would, if you got a couple hours. It's a long movie. It was I think 2 hours and 15 minutes. If you got an extra couple hours, I'd watch the first one before you watch the second one. It makes the second one better. I think if you were watching the second one without the story of the first one, it could, I guess it'd be all right standalone, but it's probably better to watch the first one. Gives you a lot of backstory. they did go a little, they jumped the shark a little bit on some of the stuff in the second one. That's to be expected, I guess. So let's see what else on the list here. Dun, 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 dun. I kind of blew through everything real quick. What do you guys want to talk about? A few of you watching this morning. Anything interesting you got going on? Bitcoin has been doing some interesting things. So I hesitate to say it dropped, but the other day, I think it's fluctuating with the war in Israel. Every time I saw a significant drop, and quote unquote significant drop is a couple percent at this point, a couple $1,000, and I would like pick up my phone because I got an alert that it's dropping or below a certain threshold, and I would then kind of scroll over onto Facebook or onto X or Nostr, and news about Israel was the first thing I would see. And I don't know if it was actually correlating with that or not. I don't understand. I don't understand why conflict would make an asset that is as hard as Bitcoin, why it would make it drop. But maybe it was no correlation whatsoever. I really have not tried to understand the fluctuations in Bitcoin price. I haven't dug into it. I don't need to play that game. I'm not trying to gamify or day trade Bitcoin. I just watch it and zoom out. And like I kind of chuckled there when I say I hesitate to say it dropped. It went from 107,000 to 105,000. I don't think that's a huge drop. But my phone blows up because it crossed 1,000 threshold on the way down or on the way up. I woke up this morning and I got a notification in the middle of the night that it was now above 107,000. It's been fluctuating in this general range between 100 and 110 for a month now, I believe. But I don't know what the big news was that it breached 107,000, but there it was. And now we're just sitting right around that mark. So it's still early, guys. It really is still early. If you don't have any Bitcoin, I suggest trying to pick some up. There is I should talk about that. I got notifications, so I don't use Cash App very much. If you know what Cash App is an app you can download on your phone. You can use it to send and receive money from your phone from the app. They have moved into cryptocurrency. They've been in it for a while now. You can buy Bitcoin in the Cash App. So basically, you can take money from your bank account. You link your bank account to Cash App. You can withdraw money from your bank account, put it into the app. You can purchase Bitcoin in the app, and then you can send that Bitcoin wherever. So you can send it to your hardware wallet, Blockstream Jade, or Jade Plus. And a note to about the Jade Plus. Since Blockstream, stop talking about Cash App for a second. Since Blockstream changed to the Blockstream app from Green, it's the same app. Basically, if you go into the Play Store and you go to update Green, it changes it to the Blockstream app. This is the native app that's used to interact with your Blockstream Jade or your Jade Plus hardware wallet. Hunter was upset that they were making another app last week on the show. They're not making another app. They just updated their current app and rebranded it. One of the things that happened when they rebranded, when they updated the app, is they turned all of the wallets you're going to have in the app are read only until you connect your device. So in green, you had the option to not display anything about the address that's associated with your hardware wallet unless you connect to your hardware wallet. Now you can see the balance. You can see the balance in your address. You can do everything. You can receive. You can get a receive address. You can do everything except send funds without your hardware wallet. That is still secure. The purpose of your hardware wallet is to sign transactions, is to sign outgoing transactions. The protection it gives you is that no one can send any Bitcoin from your address without your hardware device. So don't freak out if you had your green settings on. Hey, I don't see anything until I connect my hardware wallet. Now, when you open the Blockstream app, you'll be able to. Mike Somstead asked if it uses Lightning. I don't know. I have yet to dig into it. I got a message from a community member that had a freak out moment when they opened the Blockstream app to update some firmware on their hardware wallet, and all of a sudden they could see their balances. I went through the motions, had a sneaking suspicion that that's what had happened, and then I emailed my rep from Blockstream, and he said that they all have gone to view only. It also gives you the opportunity to have a receive address on hand if you don't have your hardware device. So if you want to lock your hardware device away in a safe, you can now view your balance. You can get receive addresses and whatnot right in the app on the go. Now you have protection. Lock that hardware wallet away somewhere safe, and if you don't plan on sending any of that hardware device can just stay away, and then you can receive. You can do whatever you want. Everything in that wallet except send right in the Blockstream app. Questions about that? Feel free to send me a message. We took care of that pretty quick. Drew got right back to me. When I had the question, I had a feeling, like I said, I knew the answer, but I wanted to verify with him, and so we can get things answered. I will dig in, Mike. I'll dig in this week on the Blockstream app. I just recently updated it, and I haven't messed around with it too much. I know Green had a Lightning wallet with Green, and it was in beta, and it was meh. It was meh. So I'll have to look in to see if they got a Lightning functionality. And I believe in my update it says you can buy. In my update from the company, it says you can buy Bitcoin in the new app too. So we'll see. But back to Cash App. Cash App, basically you can take money from your bank account. You can excuse me. You can deposit it in Cash App. You can buy Bitcoin. You can send the Bitcoin to whatever address you want, so you don't have to hold it in the Cash App app. Sorry. Hunter sent a paragraph here. I'm trying to read it. That's probably an old. Is that in an FAQ or something in the app? Because it's now the Blockstream app. So if it says Blockstream green, that's different than what we're using now. But Cash App, it is what it is. I use it when someone wants to send me money via it, or they're requesting money and that's all they have. For buying Bitcoin, I definitely would lean towards Strike, but Blockstream, or excuse me, Cash App is running a deal right now. If you sign up and you use my link, and you send your first $5 transaction, so that means you go through the motions of connecting a bank account or a debit card or a credit card or whatever. You deposit the funds and then you send at least $5. You're going to get a cash bonus. You're also going to get some Bitcoin, I believe. I know I would get some Bitcoin, but that's now through the end of June, I believe. So I will get my Cash App link in the video description and the audio notes. If you're not using Cash App and you want to get some free money, I believe both fiat and Bitcoin, from how the email read to me. Hit the link, hook up your bank account, deposit $5. It is secure. I know they use Plaid usually for signing in and hooking up your bank account. Basically, you'll put your username and password into Plaid and then authorize what Cash App will be able to see your bank account. I think it requires seeing a balance. If you're worried about it, set up a free account online, a free checking account online, and transfer funds to that or whatever. But Plaid is very trusted and as secure as you're going to find as far as doing online connections and connecting apps to your bank account. I believe Strike uses Plaid also, where if you're going to connect your bank account to Strike for buying Bitcoin. But check out the link down in the description for Cash App. I would throw it in the comments, but I don't have it on the PC. It's on my phone, so I will get that taken care of. I think there's a code that you could use if you didn't want to click the link. I will have that available too. Like I said earlier, if you would go to the lotsproject.com when you're going to be doing your Amazon shopping and click on the link on the banner that says shopping on Amazon today. It's big, it's easy to find. Click on the banner and you'll get in the tracking for our affiliates. Amazon's been messing with my affiliate stuff, so I'm just curious to see if throwing the message out there can get any traffic flowing to it, because they shut it off all of a sudden. Not completely. Like I didn't get my account didn't get canceled, but my normal traffic has hiccuped. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. So with the number of people I know that download this and listen to it, hopefully I can see some change in that, and they didn't screw me too bad. You never know. So other than that, guys, I don't have a whole lot. It's like I said, hot and humid here. Looking like it's going to be that way all week. Hopefully going to be able to get some stuff done outside. I got Delinquent Scully work to do. Things are growing like a jungle out there with all the rain and then the rain off and on with the sun. The more I weed eat, the more it grows in. And so maintaining those trails and yards and things that we're wanting to keep from overgrowing has been definitely a ongoing task this year. Last year, about this time, it had stopped raining and nothing was growing. So it got a little easier and could get some other work done. We will see. Maybe the rain will end this week. Going to call this week and get an update on our posts and roof install. So hopefully I have good news and updates on that next week. So other than that, guys, have a fantastic week. I hope you get everything done that you want and you make it a productive one. Head on over to the Telegram group if you want to keep in touch during the week at t.me/lotschat. That's t.me/lotschat. Other than that, we will wrap it up and we will catch you next Monday.